I think we have to start thinking about this in the early summer of 1989, when the Polish people were allowed to vote for their Senate. Now, this was only 100 seats, but the labor union, the famous Solidarity, Solidarsk, was allowed to run as a political party, and it won 99 of those 100 seats. This was a message to the whole of Eastern Europe. Moscow will tolerate democratic elections. Moscow does not send in the troops. And both in Poland and Hungary and Czechoslovakia and Romania, the message went through, let's test it. So we had the famous picnic in the summer of 1989, when the Hungarians broke through the barbed wire fence and ran into Austria. And Moscow did not respond. And the Warsaw Troop did not respond. We all know about November's fall of the Berlin Wall. And Gorbachev talked with a colleague of all of us, Ambassador Ischinger, who went to Moscow 2 days after the fall of that wall. And Gorbachev turned to these West Germans and said, don't worry. After they've tasted the bananas and the sex shops of West Berlin, they'll all come home. Well, they didn't. And in the next few days, we know that East Germans flocked into the West because they knew that that system which they had lived under for 40 years was crumbling. And still, the Warsaw Pact troops stayed in barracks. They did not move. So there was a time of great uncertainty. And when Ambassador Collins went to Moscow in that summer of 1990, he was uncertain too. Would the apparatchiks in the Kremlin pull down Gorbachev and reassert the power and the political and military force of the Soviet Union? Or would they allow it to disintegrate peacefully? So I take it now to Baker and President Bush's thoughtfulness in May of 1990, when the people of Lithuania on May 1 decided to assert their independence, to declare independence. And the military in the Soviet Union did not approve of this, and they knew the consequences for the 3 Baltic states. If Lithuania went independent, so too Estonia and Latvia. So this was a moment of danger, not only for Gorbachev and the government, but also for Bush and his team in the White House, because they were counting on the stability of Gorbachev's management of the Soviet government. And if that stability was wrecked, what might happen? Would there be a turn towards fascism? Or would there be a disintegration on the style and scale of Federation of Yugoslavia?